Since the day Wake Tech opened, it's trained and helped educate some of the finest members of the workforce across our entire community and across the state of North Carolina. It's just a phenomenal organization that reaches into the core of our population and helps educate folks in every trade, every possible aspect of life in this community, and anything and everything that's worked at Wake Tech for our citizens has done just that. It's worked for everyone, not just the students who are attending.
Wake Tech is much bigger than my personal experience there. Much of what I gained from Wake Tech was at a personal interest level. But Wake Tech offers many life skills and career skills classes that help people really make a real difference in their own lives and advance their own careers and help to build our community to be a much better place to live. Wake Tech is a great opportunity for people to go fine-tune their skill set and re-enter the workforce.
First and most importantly, Wake Tech has a lot of people at work today, even in a bad economy. And certainly I can speak for the healthcare community and say a large number of nurses, for example, that are operating in hospitals across our entire state of North Carolina have been trained in the state's community college system. And here at home in Wake County, that's just a fact. We're still hiring in this economy, and many of the folks who are being hired are folks who have been trained at Wake Tech, and not only trained but educated, and it's both. I mean, it's skill sets that involve training, it's education which involves life skills. Wake Tech is also helping folks find new ways to be employed, perhaps in different fields as the world changes around us.
Wake Tech touches so many people in our community. It's an integral part of our fabric, helping to build and advance the lives of the citizens here.
We know that the cost of a baccalaureate degree or beyond a graduate degree is pretty high, even in state-sponsored and state-operated organizations. And I think anytime someone could get a jump economically, and starting with the community college system, it gives some people an economic advantage to be able to go to a school that might not otherwise be able to do that, and yet have a degree that is so well thought of and an educational experience that is so strong, as we've proven. It's not theory anymore, it's proven that those students can transfer into the best of the best. Today's model, whereby they prepare young people and older people alike to prepare for a further degree and moving on up the line, they've done a great job, and we've seen that not in theory but in reality, and it's measured, so we know it to be factual. Well, you know, like anything that's good in life, the demand is pretty high, and there are far more students today that want to come to Wake Tech than can possibly be admitted. And that involves physical plan, involves equipment, involves faculty, it involves student opportunities, scholarships for some folks who want to come. It's on multiple campuses, and there's no way you can do that with only one revenue source to do it. So I think, like any great enterprise, you have to call on bonds, you need to call on the general support that comes from the community overall. You need to do a campaign to expedite the ability to build programs and to, in some cases, to find equipment and to help students and help faculty advance. This is a full package. Like any great academic endeavor, it requires the entire community to be engaged at many, many levels for it to work well for the community. And we're quite proud to be part of this process. It's not only necessary, but the timing is perfect. And I hope everyone will get involved because it's good for you as people who live in this community do this, or people who live in our great state of North Carolina, to support the community college system.
In a challenging economy, education is highlighted even greater, and our community enjoys a wonderful reputation of having a highly trained, highly educated workforce. Our enrollment at Wake Tech has never been greater. So our demand for services has never been greater, and this money that we're trying to raise will lift Wake Tech and help us prepare our citizens for a future. Our hope for this campaign is that it would exceed our goals. It is such a great investment. The case is so compelling. We have such an opportunity here with Wake Tech. Its foundation is wonderful. We just need to lift it to a new level, and we're hoping that the ripple effect will have that. One of the things that Wake Tech intends to do with this campaign money is to make an investment in fostering bright futures. We're taking students who are at risk, who are coming out of foster care environments, and investing in them so they can become productive citizens in our community.
Well, this campaign is pretty broad in its ability, and I mean people who want to become involved can do everything from economics to equipment to time to energy to in-kind. I mean, there are 1,000 ways people can get involved, and every one of those are important. And there's no smarter investment on the part of the entire community than investing in the future. And the best way to invest in the future is the education of the people who live in that community or come to that community. Education is a winner. If you don't invest in that, you might as well forget everything else we could possibly talk about, because there'll be no economic stability or economic growth in the absence of a strong education system. It's not a debatable issue. Well, it's numerous. I mean, I think, this is a time when we talk about bonds in support of universities, and that helps us build the infrastructure and other activities that will be here for generations to come, but also the question of investing in faculty, investing in scholarships, investing in technology, investing in opportunities that maybe are just not part of the community college general budget, which is unable to keep up with the demand not only here but across the entire state. What you see is just a smartening of the community. It's making sure that we keep a great, motivated workforce here in all areas of development in the community, and in keeping the companies that are here strong, and those that want to come here even stronger. When people step forward, regardless of how they contribute to this process, I assure you, if you have the means and if you have the desire to help, there are plenty of wonderful opportunities to have a return to the community that are immeasurable.
Investing in Wake Tech can mean as simple as giving somebody some additional skill set to allow them to lift their ability to earn money at some level that would be very important to them. They can live in better housing. They can afford more for their children. They become a more productive part of our society. And this rising tide lifts us all, and we're excited to be a part of it. The demands on Wake Tech have never been greater. Our enrollment is at its record level. Your investment in Wake Tech is going to help us build our workforce, make us a better community, enhance growth, help us start a ripple effect.
Well, the ripple effect was not an arbitrary title for this campaign. We just realized that when you invest a little bit here, it ripples out across the entire community. I'll just say, as a president of a healthcare system here in Wake County, that we can build all the structure you want to, all the buildings, all the technology, all of the parking lots, all of those things that support hospitals or physicians or others. But if you don't have great, well-trained people, the men and the women who make up healthcare in the nation, it's all for naught. And I assure you, when you're sick or when you're ill or when you're injured, you want somebody there that is highly qualified and knows what they're doing. And that's why you want the ripple effect in your life. Try having care of where the people don't know what they're doing. And in this case, it's really important to invest and get the best education, because you may be facing the person that's being trained today across a operating room table tomorrow, something you don't even think about. And I'd like to think you would have invested in the future of yourself and your family and your community. This is a wise investment, and it's one you just don't know when those ripples might affect you. And it could involve the people who have been trained at this community college and those across our entire state. And what happens in these places is very, very important.